Hey guys, GameWay3800 here once again, and I'm here to give you another laptop review. This time we're doing a Dell. This Dell is an Inspiron or whatever 9100, and it is heavily customized by me. Because normally this machine would have a Northwood or Prescott Pentium 4 CPU, and then the XPS lineup. This machine would have a Core 2 Extreme in it. Not a Core 2 Extreme, Pentium 4 Extreme. However, the XPS is dead, so I transferred its Pentium 4 Extreme into this. So now this has a Pentium 4 Extreme, and it does work quite well. And the XPS also had a better video card. For instance, this laptop had a Radeon 9700, well now it's got a 9800. And that gives it twice the memory as the 9700. It's got 2 gigabytes of memory, the most it can support, and the most you can, find, really. You can't find 2 gigabyte memory sticks in the correct format, really. It's gotta be in, not that format, but in this format, in old DDR1. And you can't find 2 gigabyte sticks of this, so you have to go with 2 1 gigs. So yeah. That, of course, could mean that this would run out of memory quite often because Windows 7. But hey, there's not too much you can do about that. But without further ado, let's start the review. I always go over the exterior first, so let's begin. The top panel is all plastic. There's no hiding it. Plastic. And as you can see from the XPS, not very strong. It couldn't hold up to the screen. Well, it couldn't hold up to damage, and the screen broke. However, the back of the XPS is a thin aluminum thing. So it's possible it could fare better, but evidently, no it can't. So, top, kind of bland, all one color. Front has nothing but the screen hinge open and an IR blaster thing, if people even use those. Going on to the left side, we have a DVD-RW drive that can be removed easily thanks to hot swap. And I was told you could put an extra battery in there, but I don't see any connections for one, so I don't think that's true. I know that some of the old D-series Dell laptops could do it, but not this one. The hard drive is in this here, and it's actually not a hard drive, it's a solid-state drive. Just to show you that old IDE solid-state drives do exist. And while they are a massive increase for boot-up times, it's still not much of a performance increase in terms of like Windows. So yeah, there's a old PC MCIA card slot here, empty, Firewire, 4-pin 1394, and then you have some audio jacks. On the back you have lots of venting, power supply, some USBs, video outputs, more USBs, and then networking. And then more venting over here. And then the right side has a great big chunk of nothing. And in case you haven't noticed, yes, it does look like an old D-series laptop on top of a docking station. But nope, it's the entire laptop. It's just massively, massively thick. Is it thicker than the Clevo? Or Sager, or whatever you call it? I have it right here. I think they are about the same. The Clevo is still heavier though, even though this does weigh in, I'd say, about 8 to 9 pounds. So yeah, heavy laptop, old. It's almost entirely filled with heat sinks, so I can show you. I can't show you, I don't know where the heat sinks went. Ah, here they are. There we go. You can see that the entire back end is essentially heat sinks. This is what it would all look like complete in the back. You would have one fan here, one fan here, and then one fan here. So it's not going to be quiet, as you can imagine. Let's take a look at the bottom to show you. Actually, it's a good thing I remembered to turn over the bottom, because battery. The battery life on this is not tremendous, but it does actually have a battery. You can tell how much life it's got left with the little button up here. And then the battery has a subwoofer in it. And thanks to the subwoofer and the already pretty good front-facing speakers, this has some of the best laptop speakers I've ever heard. So take that for what it's worth. And then it's all flat rubber feet. Mainly because it's meant to stay on a desk and never go on a bed, like ever. Or bed, or carpet. Or anything other than a desk like this. It's got no rubber feet raisers, as you can see on the Clevo down there. So, it's meant to be like this forever. And then the battery is just meant to last you the car ride to work or whatever. Without further ado, we're going to the screen now. Blue. If you don't like blue, then try and find a XPS. They're gray. Oh, you can't do that. Never mind. I was going to show you, but the XPS model is parted out a lot. So yeah. The keyboard, it's okay. I'd prefer to have an actual number pad than to have it with the function number pad. That's kind of useless. On the right side over here we have some media control buttons. And we have some more media buttons up here for volume. Power, and then clickers are hard. Well, actually really easy to press down, but they sound hard. They click. And then this laptop is also one of the old models where it actually has a little thing that presses down to put it into sleep mode instead of like a sensor on the hinge. Plugging it in and powering up. You can see that the SSD will get it up there, Pentium 4 Extreme. And it's already up to Windows. Yay. I'll do this here. Alright, and it's already up. But even though that seemed like it was pretty fast, especially for a Pentium 4 laptop, going to System, we will see that it doesn't really help at all. Like, it's still a 5.9, which is what any 7200 RPM hard drive can get. So yeah, whether Windows recognizes it as an SSD and it's not taking full advantage of it, or it just sees it as a normal hard drive, I don't know. But it boots up and shuts down really fast, as you, well, you didn't see it shut down, but you saw it boot up okay. And the 256 megabyte 9800 GPU is okay for what it is. Their display is a 1650 by 1060, I think. Let's find out. No, 1680 by 1050. Close enough. I believe you could get a 1920 by 1200 display on the XPS model, but the XPS screen is busted, so I can't use it. And yeah, this is one of the higher models, and it looks pretty except for when you move the mouse. It actually has a bad case of ghosting, so I have very short pointer trails to help me find where it is. And then also the control to circle in on it is also there. And you're not really going to be able to hear it, but I'll play some speaker thing anyway. Okay, that's enough. Hopefully not enough to not get a copyright. Even though it's from royalty-free music, I don't trust anything. So speakers, they're actually quite good. And the subwoofer does help bring out the boom boom in the bass. However, you could be left wanting more. And in that case, just hook up something to the audio ports, it's got them. And the Pentium 4, even though it's an Extreme Edition, it doesn't have any extra cores. It's just one core, one thread. So yeah. So that kind of makes me wonder, what was the point of introducing Pentium 4 Extreme Editions? With Pentium D Extreme Editions, it was dual core, like the Pentium Ds were, with hyperthreading, so you got 4 threads. And then the Core 2 Extremes, some of those were dual core, but some of those were also quad cores, so I don't know the naming scheme of the Extreme Edition series. I just know that it's supposedly faster than normal. However, if you've seen my Pentium 4 Showdown video, you will find that the Pentium 4 Extreme in reality is not that much faster than a old Northwood processor, which is kind of shocking, but it's got the same amount of cache, level 2 cache as a Northwood processor, but it's got level 3 cache, unlike Northwood and Prescott. But I guess level 2 cache is used more, so the more level 2 cache of the Prescott makes it better, or the higher TDP of the Prescott makes it better. I don't know, don't really care. We're just seeing how this old thing can perform. And I'm just going to play a YouTube video. Reason for that is because I found that playing it in large size or full screen will make it stutter, because Pentium 4s are old. You can see it's already maxed out to 100. And loading still. However, you can watch videos, it seems just fine in the small player. So if that's your thing, then good for you.
Danger Dawn. From glue sticks filled with butter to shoes with an inbuilt air conditioning system, we count 20 of the most bizarre and utterly useless inventions some people actually believed might take off in mainstream culture. Number 20.
And there you go. And then the traditional dancing cat. The Radeon GPU does an okay job rendering that. However, any kind of gaming, you need to turn settings way down because old laptop. So, what does that categorize this thing in? Is it a good laptop to use for, like, just in the office? No. It's too loud, you can hear it. All the 3 fans are off and on, and it will bug everyone. Okay, where is it? a good, like, kitchen computer for the family. No, it's not fast enough to really have multiple users, and it's certainly not fast enough to do more than one program at a time. So, like, if you're listening to music, you are listening to music. If you have more than one Chrome tab open, it will make the memory go way up to like 80 or 90% of the 2 gigabytes. Even though it's a 32-bit version and it's supposed to fix some of that, it still uses all its memory a lot of the time. Okay, is it a good gamer? No. So I say this thing is just categorized in obscurity. It's not good to use anymore. However, back in 2005, like 10 years ago when this thing came out, then yeah, it was like hella powerful. Like it was $5,000 to get a configuration like this. Maybe even more. So, hey, if you bought one way back then and still have it and want to know whether it's still good today, no. Sorry. I don't care how much money you spent on it, it's not a good computer today. So I guess that's the first real bad computer I've looked at, maybe next to one of the HPs, but yeah. The screen, while pretty to look at when it's still, has some ghosting issues. And then the Pentium 4 Extreme Edition even is not powerful enough for today's standards. So maybe if it had a desktop Pentium 4, and you threw in one of the 3.8 gigahertz monster CPUs in that, maybe it would be usable today, but as of right now, I don't see it. So I'll just show you it shutting down so that you can see how nice and fast it goes down. Booting up and shutting down is this thing's only strong point with the SSD. With a hard drive, I believe a majority of the things I talked about would be slower and pretty much non-usable. And it's already down. But if you need a computer to boot up and shut down quickly that's really old, give it an SSD. So yeah, that's it. If you enjoyed my review, then hey, leave a like. If not, then leave. I don't know. I will say that this machine was easy to take apart. That's all I'll say. All it needed to do was have the hinge screws undone, and then take off one of these side things, and then you can get access to lift off the power panel thing, and then from there you can take off the keyboard, take out all the heat sinks, and clean out everything without having to take apart the entire computer. Which is what I did when I first got this, because I forgot how that worked. But now that I've remembered, maybe you can too. Thanks, Game Way Out. See you next time.